Hi, my name is Aaron Raj. Welcome to Buku Bedah, an initiative by PEKUMA. And on today's episode, I guess, I will be talking about the book Doughnut Economics by Kate Raworth. So, starting with the author, Kate Raworth is an Oxford economist, and she basically advocates thinking like a 21st century economist, where we not only think about growth, but we should also think within a circle of growth, where we focus more on a regenerative economy as opposed to one that just grows and grows. She basically advocates social well-being and prosperity from the viewpoint of individuals, but also on the scale of our planet. So we also need to think about our planet as we think about our economy. So it is not enough to constantly think about economic growth, but we also need to think about climate change and ocean acidification and all that, and the effects that our economy and our economic activities has on the planet. So there are three basic principles behind this book. First of all, the idea that the economy is not a closed loop. Second is that our needs and the planet's needs can be covered when we are thinking of the economy as a donut, and that I will explain a bit later. And finally, the idea of reusability in economics, which is important for the idea of regenerative economies. So nowadays, a lot of economic thought and economists think of themselves as engineers, where they're trying to use specific economic tools to try and modify the economy and try to tweak it for success economically. But Raworth proposes that we should actually think of ourselves, or economists should think of themselves as gardeners instead, where we have to take care and maintain the economic system instead of just trying to push it for growth constantly. So every economic student basically learns this in basic macroeconomics. It's called the circular flow of goods, right? So you have firms which provide wages to households in exchange for households providing labor to these firms, and with that, the firms can give them the goods that they buy with money that they earn from those wages. And basically, the problem with this, Raworth argues, is that it does not take into account the ecological cost this has on our environment. Because the circular flow of goods does not actually float in thin air. It's not a system just created by humans, but it is it takes stuff from the ecology, from the environment, resources from our planet, from the sun, from our plants and so on, from water. And she argues that these are not actually as infinite as normal or previous economists would have proposed. But instead, we actually need to take these into account in the models that we create. Because now in modern economic education, a lot of these ecological factors are just seen as, oh, it makes our models too complicated and therefore we don't have to think about it. She argues that no, these need to be taken into account. And basically the problems that she says needs to be taken into account are fourfold. So first of all is the ecological factor, which I talked about, where our resources don't just come from nowhere, because we are taking resources from the sun, like sunlight, and water from our oceans and rivers, and we are converting these into waste and pollution. And the second problem is with the idea of the hidden economy, and she argues that it is not often taught in every single economic course unless we take an elective on, say, development economics or advanced macroeconomics. The idea of the hidden economy with parenting, while in modern economic education it's argued that parenting is some sort of hidden economy process, she argues that it needs to be taken into account in the models because it is it is responsible for a lot of economic activity. For example, without parenting, a lot of economic activity will not be able to go on. So the third idea is of unpaid work. For example, you may think of unpaid work as, say, a neighbor helping out another neighbor, like take care of my dog one weekend and I will cut your grass another, just do me a favor. But it also expands into massive economic activities. For example, Wikipedia is probably the largest encyclopedia in the world, and it is the result of just people being free and wanting to help out on Wikipedia, and therefore they're not being paid for the intense amounts of work that goes into that. And finally, the idea of inequality. So the income gap between the rich and the poor is ever widening, and it also needs to be taken into account of modern economic models in education of economics. So the whole idea of the doughnut economy that she argues is basically this. Let's go into a break. So she argues that instead of constantly pushing for continuous growth, we actually have to keep it within a nice, safe zone. I kinda like you. Welcome back. This is part 2 of Doughnut Economics, where we are actually going into the whole idea of thinking of the economy as a donut, right? So, looking at this shape, it's supposed to be a donut. Raworth argues that the inner core of a donut basically is basic needs. So there are 12 basic needs ranging from water, food, justice, gender equality, and so on. Basic needs that are needed to be fulfilled to let humans thrive, right, in society. And then after that, you have a that basically encompasses the social foundations that are necessary for humans to thrive. And then when you go outside the donut, you have the ideas of problematic things. So for example, ocean acidification, pollution, basically anything that harms the planet as a result of our economic activities. And then if you look at the door of a donut, which is this part right here, but not outside the donut, yeah, it's good. I hope you can imagine. You have a good zone, a safe zone, where you have a regenerative and distributive economy, where we need to actually just maintain the growth that we are achieving, where we can achieve the social foundations of the basic needs that are in the whole, but we do not overshoot and reach the problems that affect our climate and affect our planet. So today in a lot of economies, we see the problems of being within the whole, where the social foundation itself is not being met. For example, in many African countries, many third world countries, basically the social needs are not being met. And in a lot of countries that are developed, you are actually overshooting and causing some problems where you have gone past these regenerative and distributive boundaries and are actually harming the planet as well as society as a whole. So she argues that instead of constantly pushing for continuous growth, we actually have to keep it within a nice, safe zone. So the third idea that she actually proposes is the idea of reusability, and she tries to do this as a suggestion to policymakers, politicians, and organizations where you have reusable products. For example, in the Netherlands, they take plastic and transform it into art pieces. And you also have in Germany, BMW, they use recycled materials in the production of their own cars. And basically, why she argues for reusability is that instead of taking more resources, you are taking resources that have already been spent and you are using it for the creation of another resource. So you're not using creating and then depleting, but instead you are using, creating, and then using it again. and basically that helps an economy stay within the safe zone. Okay, and that's basically the ideas that she talked about in her book, and my personal opinion on the book, I guess. Is that part of the thing? Okay. I personally think that her book is quite idealistic in that we do have to think about the effects of the economy on the climate, on the environment, and so on. But the problem is that she frames it as a call to action to policymakers and politicians. And oftentimes she does say that the politicians need to do this, the society needs to do that, but she does not provide a analysis as to why these politicians and society actually has an incentive to do so. Beyond that, based on the current climate that we're in, while it is idealistic, it is necessary. So I think if an economist can actually answer incentives as to why people need to do that, then yeah, sure, we have no problems. Hopefully, in an ideal world. Yeah. Thanks for watching.